He opened the barn door to check on the horses. He never expected to find a woman fighting for her last breath. The blizzard hit harder than any storm Caleb Turner had seen in years. Snow roared across the Montana prairie, burying fences and swallowing the world in white. He had just finished securing the livestock when a faint sound carried through the wind, something between a cry and a broken whisper. Lantern in hand, Caleb pushed against the storm, following the sound to the old storage shed near the edge of his property. When he yanked open the frozen door, he froze. A young woman lay curled against the wall, her dress soaked, skin ghost pale, lips trembling violently. Her suitcase sat half-buried beneath snow that had blown inside. "Please," she breathed, barely conscious. "Don't leave me." Caleb wrapped his coat around her and lifted her into his arms. Inside his cabin, he laid her by the fire, rubbing warmth back into her hands as he listened to her halting story. Her name was Anna Whitlock, a mail-order bride who had traveled hundreds of miles to marry the man who promised her a future. But when she arrived, he took one look at her, too thin, too fragile, not what he expected, and told her she was a mistake. Before the storm hit, he'd thrown her out. Caleb felt something burn deep in his chest, anger, protectiveness, and a hurt he'd forgotten he could feel. He brewed warm broth, wrapped her in blankets, and sat beside her until the violent shivering eased. Days passed. Snow melted from the windows, and color returned to Anna's cheeks. She laughed again, gently at first, like testing the world for cracks. She helped with chores, planting seedlings in the greenhouse, patching quilts, bringing life back into a home that had been silent for too long. One evening, standing beneath a sky washed with stars, Anna touched Caleb's hand. "You saved me," she whispered. Caleb shook his head. "No. You survived. I just gave you a place to do it." Spring arrived, and with it came the sheriff, bringing word that the neighbor had vanished after the town learned what he'd done. Caleb felt relief instead of guilt. Anna stayed. Not because she had nowhere else to go, but because she'd found something she never expected, a man who saw her worth the moment he opened that frozen door. And when they married under the cottonwood tree that summer, neighbors said the vows sounded like a second chance the world itself had been waiting for. Sometimes the storm that nearly destroys you delivers the life you were meant to find.